who did make the original internet start learning what the left hand's good at and take away from it the things that it's really lousy at. That's reasonable. And the people may listen if you say that. What they're not going to say is, you elect me, I'm going to take all your income taxes and give them back to you. They're not going to listen to that. They haven't.
What I always say is that there's going to be no libertopia. There's not going to be a libertarian utopia. And one of the reasons that I am a libertarian is that I don't want to live in anyone's utopia, be it the Christian right, the liberal left, or each individual libertarian has their own idea of what a libertarian society would be like. And I don't want to live in any of them. What I want is a society where I'm safe to live as an individual. And I do think that you're right in that we need to be able to let people see how do we get from point A to point B. Any change that happens in towards libertarianism in our society will be gradual, because we're never going to sweep Congress. Slowly but surely we'll continue to get into the water boards and the city councils like we are now, and we'll bring about a slow incremental amount of change, and we'll point to it and go, look, we helped here.
Exactly.
And people will say, you did. Well, maybe we'll vote in another libertarian.
And there are many, many ways in which libertarianism can, instead of being negative about ranting about government, the fact is government is a tool. And we are the first people in human history who have had the power as individuals to hold the mighty accountable. How did we get that? We got it by dividing the mighty into lots of little groups and sicking them on each other. Mm-hmm. One of those centers of power is government. Another is the aristocracy, various sub-branches of the aristocracy. Throughout human history, most human civilizations were feudal. Every time that human beings discovered metallurgy and agriculture, some guys would pick up metal implements and take other men's women and wheat. And if libertarianism refuses to recognize that for 6,000 years, the worst enemy of free markets was not socialism, it wasn't government bureaucrats, it was feudal aristocrats. It was people at the top of a social pyramid using their power and using the government to ensure that everybody stayed in their place.
Corporate welfare is what you're talking about.
Corporate welfare, 5,000 frat brothers controlling all three branches of our government.
Yeah.
The two big parties are not equal enemies of libertarianism. Mm-hmm. They are not equal enemies. The Democratic Party is filled with sincere people who want a better world within which all the children will grow up safe, secure, and filled with knowledge. Now, they want to use methods that we don't like.
Which is what we're arguing with.
Exactly. So this is a place for legitimate argumentation. We both want a diamond-shaped social structure, one in which the well-off middle outnumbers the poor, and nobody who is born poor, his parents may stay there. Tragic, sad, bad decisions, maybe some things that need to be fixed, but you don't inherit it as a child. Libertarians and Democrats both believe in that. The diamond-shaped social structure with a big arrow in it aimed up.
So we always need to say, as I always do, and as I do on this show, that first agree with what the goal is.
And the goal is a future in which so many children are so well-fed and well-raised that they become irascible and opinionated individualists. Excuse me, what else would people do? This is why I'm known as a cheerful libertarian. We're bound to win if all children rise up to having decent educations, enough protein, even if the state plays a role in that. Because what else would people want?
Well, there's
than to
still,
be free.
In a libertarian society, there would be still a state protecting people from force and fraud.
And it will wither away gradually. But let me point out something. After 9/11, you had a lot of pundits on the airwaves screaming at each other. It made great theater. You had the standard dichotomy, just like left, right. an evil curse on our concept space that we inherit from the French from 1789. If there's any other reason than to get rid of the left-right political axis, it's because that's how we got it. This dichotomy after 9/11 was, we're going to have to surrender some traditional freedoms for the sake of our children's safety. And then the civil libertarians screaming, how dare you say that? We must surrender, be willing to sacrifice some security for the sake of sacred freedom. Now, if I must choose between these two, I will choose the latter, the civil libertarian. But I just want to yell at the TV, who are you to make me take this choice? Nobody tells me I have to choose between my children's freedom and their safety. And the proof that this is a stupid dichotomy, and people proposing that automatically are disqualified, is us. In all of human history, no people have ever been so safe. In all of human history, no people have ever been so free. And in all of human history, there have never been so many libertarian-leaning people, and they came out of the state schools. We have to learn to recognize these ironies, chill out a little, and pragmatically say, how am I going to get political power to people who say, yes, the state addressed drug safety. It was a terrible problem, but can't we do better than the FDA? I'm not going to say we're going to cancel it, chop it off now, but let's take 5% of the FDA's budget and put it into goosing the insurance companies so that they do their natural capitalistic job of informing the buyers of their policies how to live longer. And all I'm asking for is an incremental approach to provide a capitalist alternative to. I understand why people voted for this state solution. It's crude,
we have
it's
to go
cumbersome.
from more coercion to less coercion.
Exactly.
We're not going to go suddenly from coercion to absolutely no coercion. And going back to what you were saying before, I always like to say about 9/11 that we defeated an even more dangerous enemy, the communists, with our Constitution intact and our Bill of Rights, and
Absolutely.
I would dare say because we had our Constitution and because we had our Bill of Rights intact, that is how we defeated an enemy much more dangerous than Al-Qaeda.
Impatience and drumming up fear. Look, you cannot name one policy of this administration that does not serve the interests of 5,000 frat brothers. Now, it's only natural that some of the aristocracy will want and dream of a return to the pyramidal social order. It's in our genes. If you had the power to become a feudal lord, you'd try to be a good one, but you would grab that power.
And
it's in us.
I like what you were talking about with the frat brothers. Is that we have a corporate welfare economy, and those people who are on the top of the economy do believe that there is some giant pie, and that they have been given a bigger slice, and that they need more government so that they preserve their bigger slice. But that isn't true. The real capitalists know that the more people that have more money there are in the world,
the diamond-shaped social
the
structure
richer you get at the top.
Has the loyalty of those aristocrats who know where they came from, who know that their children inheriting vast amounts of wealth to become feudal lords is not their main aim. Their main aim is to see to it that all children have a chance to compete so well that they'll invent things that make it more fun to be rich.
Even the people at the top, the rich people don't know that when they made $1 billion, they didn't take $1 billion from a billion different poor people. They made $1 billion that wasn't there before.
Exactly,
and if the rich knew that, they wouldn't be asking the government to regulate, to stop other people from getting rich.
Some do.
Too.
Some of the rich know this. The distinction is between the insatiable rich and the satiable rich. The insatiable want a diamond-shaped social structure so that it's constantly rising, so that there will be hundreds of millions of engineers and doctors inventing ways for them to live longer and have more fun.
And that is the vision of libertarianism.
Exactly.
That you would like to see portrayed out there in the world, and by libertarian.
If the flag of libertarianism were a diamond with an arrow